Hey guys, today I want to show you an awesome add-on called WeakAuras, and despite its name, it's one of the most powerful add-ons you can find around, really. Basically what it does is everything. Do you want to know when the spell comes off the cooldown? No problem. Or maybe you want to know when the trinket procs? Sure. That's all the easy part of the add-on, but its most powerful feature is hidden within a custom LUA functions. Yes, you can create sort of mini add-on within an add-on. So while many people will tell you that you need some programming and background or LUA knowledge, which is true in a sense, but for the most of the stuff you'll need, you're gonna be okay by just watching this video. I hope it's not too intimidating. It is usually at the beginning. So I will be using two websites today, but most of the time you'll only need reference code from one. So let's get started, shall we? We start by opening up the WeakAura by /WA. So a little window pops up. You probably know it because I'm not gonna be explaining about everything here. There are many other tutorials doing that. I just want to focus on custom stuff today. So we go in text and just, I don't know, name it something like test or something, whatever you want. Before we start, let's just quickly set some triggers so it's always up, like no matter what. What I like to do is use the health status and go in the health percentage less or equal to 100% health. That means it's always going to be up. Okay, it's not moving for some reason. Let's just make it a little bit bigger. There we go. So to start with custom code, you need to put in percentage sign here and C. Then you press accept and new options appears here. Let's go with expanding text editor and start doing some coding thing. Don't get intimidated by this thing. Okay, it's not that hard. I'll show you why. So let's start with basic stuff like reading values from paper doll, like mana regen and combat regen. To do that, we first do a function. With the function we make a little frame where we're gonna work inside. So this is the frame we're gonna be working inside. It is a good habit to always define the end. Same as if you're coming from C++ background, you would use parentheses, closing and opening and closing them immediately. That's a good practice. So what do we do now? What's happening? Basically, you're starting with defining a local variable. You don't want to use globals. So where do we get that variable and what are we actually looking for? So this is where the easy part comes in. Well, it's not easy, but it's not either hard as well. So you're going to webprogramming.com/docs/API, and here you can find all the API functions you need. That's lots of them there. But we are only interested in mana regen, so let's just press Ctrl F and go for something like regen. There we go, the first one. Get mana regen, returns information about player's mana regeneration rate. Perfect, that's what we need. Let's open it in a new tab. There we go, that's how it works. You go with local, base, comma, casting, and you get mana regen. You don't have to use these two. You can use you can define any string you really want. It can be X and Y or A and B, for example. Doesn't matter. as long as because you're going to be using your own thing later on in the code to make it appear on the screen. So let's go with the basic here. Let me just pinch this window on the top. Hope it works. That doesn't matter. So excuse me. So we start with defining local variable. Local. We're just gonna go with the default stuff. Base, casting, equal sign, get mana, regen, function. That's it. We have told the program, the WoW, the game, to get us two variables, which are base, amount of mana regenerated per second while not casting, and casting, amount of mana regenerated per second while casting. And it's gonna return us numbers. That's what we need, numbers. So let's start with something simple. We need to draw this every frame for now, just for testing, right? If you're deep inside this code, you probably don't even want to watch this video, but just in case, you don't want to really update everything every frame, because that's gonna increase the lag on the game. Not by a big margin, but it's gonna do that, obviously. But for the small things like this, you shouldn't really worry about that for now. So all we need to do now is start with the if loop, and we end it. Good practice. So we start with if loop. If something is true, this is gonna be appearing on the screen, as long as it's true. So we go if base. If base is true, then we execute the code inside here. Basically, the base will be always true, so nice. This means that the if function will always rotate around. It's gonna go like if base is true, then we do this function inside, we end the function, we go back. Base is still true, we repeat every frame. By every frame, I mean every real game frame, like frame per second. That's updated every frame per second in a game. You have 60 frames per second, it's going to be updated 60 times per second. So, excuse me. Now we just need to return the string. Let's say return string format. It's return string dot format. I'm gonna be showing you string formats in a second. Actually, I'm gonna show you the string formats now. So what's going on? What's up with the string formats? It's called API format. You can find it in wiki.com/API format. I'll be giving you these links in the description of this video. So the way it works is you go string.format, open break, I don't know what it's called, format stringing, and you have the values you want. It looks something like this. The first line here is the best example in my opinion. So you go with string.format, show us the string or quote. You see, percentage string or percentage quote, string and quote, quoted strings. and what it does, it gives you the string what's inside these. The hell are these called, guys? Seriously, sorry about that. I don't know. I forgot the proper English word for these things. Yeah. So it's gonna give you just what inside. Yeah. You see, that's a string because it's inside of these things. So, and if you go for the quote, it's gonna give you the whole quote, including these things. Yeah. As you see, yeah. You can go with something more specific like exponents. I don't know what the hell these characters things. And well, anyway, today we're gonna be using only the strings, and we're gonna be using the math thing, %f and %.f things, which are floats, because we want to see the floats today, right? They this is just a float, and this is a compact float, and what it means is instead of just seeing decimal values or integer values, you're gonna see everything that is behind the comma or a dot, depending on your country. All right, so this is already, I think this is already getting boring. So we're just gonna. I hope you understood what I meant with explain what I tried to explain that, but you'll probably see in a minute anyway how it works out. So we go with return string that format. Open up. And we want to see string, comma, and the actual string, which is base. Actually, we want to see two strings. We want to see string, comma, base, comma, casting. Now what I did here is you need two strings because the first one will show you the first value. The second format will show you the second value. And as long as you keep adding the values here, like example X and Y, you're going to have to keep adding the formats here for each one of them. What it is, like defining what it is a string, or it's an integer, or it's a float, or it's a quote, or you get the idea. So don't leave the comma there. And before we end if, we always want to return 0 if something goes wrong. So else return 0 and end. Did I just do that? No, sorry, it's not the end. I already closed the end. Sorry about that. So basically, it means if this is true, if the base is true, it's gonna return as the string, and if it's not true, it's gonna return as 0. And also, I forget these stupid things. I don't know what they're called. There we go. You always have to use those because that's what the API says. You have to use these things here as well. See that? And let's see if that works. Okay, that works. Now what it shows is big ass numbers here, which kind of makes no sense, but the digits before the comma, it's mana region per second. It's not per 5 seconds. It's per second with the big ass number behind, which is what we're gonna get rid of now. So let's get back in the editor, and instead of strings, we're gonna go with the compact floats, or just float. Let's just go with the float, for example. I'm just gonna change the first one so you understand what's going on, what is changing. So as you can see, the first number got a little smaller, and the second one is the same. And for example, we could go with a compact float, which let's say 0.2f, which shows a lot more compact numbers now. Let's say the first one, we put the first one as 0.1, and it's gonna show only one. It's gonna only show only one digit after the comma, and the second one, as we defined here, 0.2f, which it's gonna show us two digits behind the comma. It's really entirely up to you how you want to use it. If you don't want to see the comma, actually I don't know. I think you just needed to multiply a little if you want to get rid of commas. Guys, I'm really not sure about this. let's just try with, excuse me, with the casting. Multiply with 100. 751. Never mind. I don't know, guys. I forgot. Sorry about that. And it doesn't really matter for now. So what I want to do, what I want to show you next is, you can see we have numbers in a row, but for example, in most of the cases we want them in each one of them in a new line. So how do we achieve that? It's pretty simple, and it starts with, instead of using these sheets here, we are reformatting the whole thing. We go with two open brackets, open square brackets here, go enter, and let me think, and yeah, we close the two brackets here. There we go. And now what we can do is we can simply keep adding them to new lines to make life easier for ourselves, and it's gonna be looking a lot more nicer. Just delete this comma here. There we go, and something like this. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So what's happening now? Why I did this? It's gonna be a lot easier for you now, because you can keep adding the lines, and all you need to worry about here, you don't need to worry about anything. Just keep adding the lines you need, and in here you just add the line and the comma at the very end. That's it. So what do we do now? Whoops. At the moment, what we see is some kind of mysterious numbers. I'm still level 85 on my priest. Don't mind that, please. What we wanted to do is get the mana regen and combat regen from Paper Doll here. That basically, this is what we actually did. It's over here, but it's 5 times less if you look at the numbers. And what Paper Doll does is it's just taking the same numbers here and multiplying them by 5, which is MP5. So that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna take the base value and multiply it by 5, and take the casting value and multiply by 5. And now we have exactly the same numbers as here, 5,517 and 3,758. There you go. So basically, what can you do with this is, I don't know, use your imagination really. You could, excuse me, for example, if I remove spirit trinket, the values will drop as well. Basically, it's updated immediately. So, you know, just to show you that this stuff works. What we could do now is let's add some stuff with power bar solos, shall we? Oh, we wanna actually let's add because of the changes in Mr. Pandaria. The mana is always capped at the full value, so that's 100%, which kind of makes few things easier for ourselves, and especially if we're doing some math maybe or something. So, excuse me, give me a sec there, please. Okay, so let's add something like player's mana, for example. We want to see the mana, and we're gonna use the mana to see mana regen from abilities like Solace or Mindbender, for example. Anything that is percentage based on mana. If you look at the tooltip here, it says restoring 0.7% of maximum mana. So it's all about maximum mana, and the maximum mana is always capped. So you can even go with hard coding the values as well, which is not suggested, but is an option. So let's go with adding new local value, which is going to be mana. Local mana equals. So we need to find mana. How do we find the mana? Let's go in API again and find mana. Actually, if you go like mana, you won't find it here. It's, well, it's actually called power now. It has been changed. So it's now get power regen. That's even the wrong one. Well, I'm gonna just tell you how it works. It's named unit power. There we go. Returns a unit's current level of mana rage energy. It's not only it's not the mana anymore. It's called power, and it includes values of anything that's like rage energy or Death Knight's thing. I forgot what it is. So let's go in the unit power. Oops, shouldn't have done that. Okay. So let's go and see what's going on here. You have power equals with unit power, unit ID, and power type. So unit ID, it means who are you looking at? Is it you? Is it your target? Is it your focus, or is it maybe a boss health or something? And the power type is the type. Is it a mana, rage, or energy? Simple enough, right? So you can find unit IDs over here, and you can find power types over here. What we are interested in is a player. So it's the player value, a string, player himself. You can go with pet, vehicle, target, focus, mouse, over everything you want really. So we need just a player, and we need mana, which is spell power mana. I just copy that. So you can find all the names here you need. So let's go with defining power unit power. Mana is unit power. We want it on, as you can see here, we need to define unit ID, which is player. Excuse me, just this one here. Unit ID is a player. And go with comma. And then we need the power type, which is the text we copied earlier. Paste it in. That's it. Now we have got value of our mana. All we need to do is just bring it out on a scheme, because if you close it now, nothing is going to happen. See, nothing has changed, because what we only did is define a value. We didn't even tell it to show up. So we're returning the string, which is gonna be, first of all, let's just rename these quickly. This is base, and this is combat regen. As you can see, that updated as well. And what we want to do is add the new line, and we go with mana and percentage dot f. Yes. Just gonna leave f's in here as well. Percentage dot f, and then we need to add another value on top over here, which is called mana. Defined value. Show us the mana, and go comma. You always need to put comma because of the next values in the row. So mana base combat, mana base combat. It should always be like that. Let's go OK, and now it shows me my total mana, which is correct at level 85, which is 102. Yes, indeed it is. So if we go with wasting some mana now, it should change as well. There we go. And it changes every frame. I mean, it's updating every frame, so pretty handy. Alright then, let's continue. Okay, now I want to show you how to add some specific attribute from a certain spell or a buff or aura, whatever you want really. The way it works here in WoW, it works on arrays. I don't know how to pronounce them. Let me just write them down for you. See that? Arrays. So what that means is it's like one value, right? But inside of it has many different values. So it's a memory thing. It's a RAM thing, really. So what we want to do is we want to find the value inside an array. We are looking for an argument. Which value of this value we are actually looking for. For example, a spell called Power Word or Shield would have absorb value inside of it, right? Power Word Shield also has a cast time value, which is instant in this case. But for example, Power Word Solace or Holy Fire or I don't know, any other spell that is castable, like heal, greater heal, binding heal, anything, they have a cast time. So how do we get the cast time out of it? We do that like this. First of all, we need to tell the engine that we're actually looking for a spell, and you know what, that's gonna be hard to explain. Let me try it this way. Let me just close these two. Excuse me. Okay, we are looking for get spell info. I'm just gonna speed this up a little bit. So we're looking for get spell info. It returns information about the spell. Blah blah blah. Okay, so the signature here. This is the array. This is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are nine signatures within one array. That means there are 9 values within a string value. 9 integer values within one string value. This is the string value, and these are the 9 integer values. The variables, I think, not integers, excuse me. The English is just a bit confusing for me sometimes. So what we do is we are only interested in the casting time, okay? So we want to skip the rest of them. So when you can do that while defining, which is the easy part. So we go with 1, 2, 3, 4, power cast, nice. 5, 6, 7. We are looking for the 7th value. So how do we do that? It's actually pretty simple. Let me just scale this down a bit. So we need the 7th value. So we go with local, and we leave blanks here. So we let engine skip it. So we go. The hell this thing is called, I don't know. Underline, is it? So we just go with underline, comma, underline, comma, underline, comma. That's 1, 2, 3. Underline, comma, 4, underline, comma, 5, underline, comma, 6. And we need 7th value, which we're gonna call casting speed. C speed, casting speed. Doesn't matter what you call it. Equals, and now we tell the engine to get it from get spell info, as it says in here. So we're leaving these first 6 out, and we are only taking for a C speed, which is casting time. And we can ignore the ones that's after that. Don't need to touch them. And we go with the get spell info, and then we go ignore the index. We go with book type, or we can go with the name, or we can go with the spell info. You can get spell infos from Wowhead. Let me just show you quickly how it works. For example, if there is a spell, or there are like 2 or 3 spells with the same name, that means you probably have some error or a bug finding the real spell you're looking for. So in that case, you will go with the spell ID. So for us, it's Power Word Solace, which is ability, talent, sorry. And the spell ID is this one here. You can just use that spell ID. Get spell info, and open it, put it inside these things again here. Well, for the demonstration, I'm just gonna show you how it works. So you just copy spell info, and that's it. That's your spell. But today I'm not gonna use that. it will work. Don't worry. But I just don't want to use it. I want to go the easier part. I'm just gonna call it powerboard. Powerboard Solus, as it says here on tooltip, and you need to put the things here as well. What is it? The parentheses, are they? I forgot. See, get spell info and the name of the spell into these things. Alright. So now we have the variable. We have a C speed from the variable, and let's see the C speed in action on the screen. So we go with, you can name it here whatever you want. Just go with C speed. C speed %.f, and we want to add it's called C speed comma, and now we have a C speed here, but it shows us as a weird value, so actually never mind. So what you can see is it says 1368 milliseconds, while on tooltip it shows seconds. I believe there are 1000 milliseconds in 1 second, right? So we just take the C speed and we divide it by 1000. And we need to put it .2f. There we go. Yeah. So now it shows the casting speed of the powerboard Solus, 1.37, which is correct. So now if we press power of infusion, for example, which increases my spell haste by 20%, the number here will change as well. And if I put powerboard shield, which gives me some haste, it brings it down to 0.99, which is correct. And bam, it's back. Okay. So let's go back. Oh, this is taking longer than I expected. Doesn't matter. The next thing is we want to do some actual math. At the moment, what we're doing is just pushing out the values in the screen. So there is a little math with it. Yes, it's dividing by 1000 and multiplying by 5. Nice. But let's do something a little bit different. Let's calculate. Let's calculate mana returned by powerboard Solus, which is 0.7% of our total mana. Right. So we go with the new local. We go local Solus MP mana. Let's just go Solus regen equals mana, which is the total mana, multiplied by 0.7%. So you can't put percent here. It doesn't work like that. In the maths, it's just easier to divide it by 100, and that's it. That's gonna be 0.7% for you. You probably went to school, you know that, right? So now we need to show up the C speed, S regen. So we go with Solus regen is go with point F. And Solus regen. That's it. Yes. And we have, there we go. We have Solus regen is 714, which is, if we grab a calculator ourselves, we have 102, 101, 000, multiplies, excuse me, messed it up a bit, it's getting late already, multiplied by 0.7%, there we go, 714, it didn't lie. So that's what we get per Solus cast. And let's, for example, now with what we can do is calculate a total Solus regen from based on your haste. For example, our Solus regen will always rise if we get more haste, right? Because it's going to be casted faster. So how do we do that? Go back in WeakAuras and let's add the new local variable. Let's call it Solus MP5, and the math here is Solus regen divided by C speed. Well, what am I doing here at the moment is I'm getting a mana regen, the current mana regen, which is this one, and I'm dividing by C speed to get mana per 1 second. So basically we have 1.37 seconds cast. So how do we get to 1 second? Is we just get the current one and divide it by the speed, which is going to give us mana regen per 1 second, right? So we go again, add some strings, let's say SMPF MP5 %.f and add Solus MP, it's actually Solus MP1, excuse me, MP5, we'll just call it, rename it here to Solus MP for now. Solus MP5. It says 1. It says 1 because let me just quickly check something out. There we go. Yes, I needed to multiply with 1000 because it's in milliseconds. It's not in seconds. We're not dividing seconds here. We're dividing milliseconds. So adding 1000, it gives us per second. So basically, without current mana, with just 1.37 second cast, we get 714, and if we only cast well, mana regen per second, it is 522 only. So it's like per second regen, the real percent. So what do? Is we just simply convert it into MP5 by multiplying by 5. And that is, we go divided by casting speed multiplied by 5. And as you can see, it shows us 2610, which is correct, with level 85 mana and stuff like that. You can grab your calculators and check it yourself if you want, but that should be the correct value. So what can we do with this information? Lots of stuff really. Like I mean, you just use your imagination really, guys. It's not a rocket science, as you can see. It's pretty easy to do stuff. I mean, look at these numbers now. For example, if I increase power infusion, my Solas regen will increase as well because it casts faster now. It's 3,132 now, and if I add power shield, which gives me borrowed time, it gives me total of almost 3,600. So, you know, that's what it done. What happened there is you need to adjust. Why is the SMP value? Hold on. Changing it's because our mana is not always 100% like this. You will need to hard code it if you want the values to stay there. I don't want that for now. It's just for demonstration purposes really. SMP5. It's now SMP5. So basically that's it, guys. I know it took like 46 seconds. 46 minutes to cover all this. It's a bit lengthy video tutorial, sorry about that. And basically, I don't know, thanks for watching this, and good luck with your quests with doing some custom stuff for your WeakAuras, I guess. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you around.